it for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, 'cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est Gainey qui complète le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Wednesday, August 13th. Thanks for watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Yesterday, Serge Savard and members of the 1976 Canada Cup team all got together at Club de Golf Le Mirage, and there were some great quotes that came out of yesterday's golf tournament, of course, with everyone weighing in on the Montreal Canadiens and Serge Savard with quite the quote. Let's listen to him.
Vu au début l'an passé, j'ai tout de suite dit c'est le meilleur joueur de hockey du Canadien. Et j'étais convaincu très tôt qu'il serait réellement une grande vedette dans la Ligue nationale. Les choses qu'il peut faire, il n'y a pas grand monde qui peut faire ce qu'il fait. Naturellement, on regarde aussi, on a toujours peur lorsqu'il arrive un gars de 6 pieds 4 à 100 000 à l'heure, qu'il arrive sur son bord, on a toujours peur, mais ce gars-là, il est tellement agile, puis il trouve toujours le moyen de s'esquiver de ça. Puis je pense que c'est un gars qui a pas peur de jouer lorsqu'un match est très viril. Alors, il est capable de jouer là-dedans. Moi, écoute, le futur va nous le dire, mais je pense que c'est le gars le plus talentueux que le Canadien n'a pas eu depuis Guy Lafleur.
There you have it. Serge Savard talking about none other than Montreal Canadiens defenseman Lane Hutson. What did he say exactly for those who didn't understand him in French? Well, I'll translate. He said, early on when I saw him last year, I said, pardon me, this is the most talented player on the Montreal Canadiens. He said, you know what? He's so good. There's not a lot of players in the National Hockey League who can do what he does. And he goes, yeah, every time you're going to see, a 6'4", big guy coming down his side, and you're probably going to get a little bit nervous, but he says he's so agile. He's able to get away from that stuff, and he's able to escape it. And he said, you know what? I get the feeling as well that this guy doesn't mind if the game gets physical. If the game gets tough, it gets physical, it goes in that direction. He's able to deal with it. He's able to handle it. And he said, you know what? We'll see. Only time will tell. But he says, in my opinion, he's the most talented player the Montreal Canadiens have had since Guy Lafleur, who retired in 1984, whatever it was, with the Montreal Canadiens, that is. Played his last game with the Canadiens in 1984. Stu Cowan of the Montreal Gazette and HockeyInsideOut.com. Stu, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tony. How are you doing?
I'm doing extremely well. Now, once again, Guy Lafleur, between 1974 and 1979, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79, for those 6 seasons, Guy Lafleur was the best hockey player in the world. He had seasons of 53, 56, 56, 60, and 52 goals. He also had 50 goals after that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 seasons, once again, of over 50 goals. 119, 125, 136, 132, 129, and 125 points for 6 seasons. Guy Lafleur was the best hockey player in the world. And once again, he played his last game with the Montreal Canadiens in the 1984-85 season. And Serge Savard says, time will tell, but Lane Hutson is the most talented Montreal Canadian since Guy Lafleur. Stu, we've seen some pretty good hockey players since Guy Lafleur. We saw Mats Naslund.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Stéphane Richer. We saw Alex Kovalev. We saw Vinny Danfous. We saw Pierre Turgeon. We saw, I don't know. We saw a lot of guys. I mean, I'm trying to think. We saw Saku Koivu. We saw Alex Kovalev.
The thing with Lane Hutson, though, I think, Tony, he's a unique talent, right?
Radulov. Go ahead.
A unique talent. Guy Lafleur was a unique talent also. I mean, a defenseman to dominate the game offensively, the way that Lane Hutson can, the way he skates, the way he moves, the way he sees the game. He's so unique, and he's such a uniquely talented player. And hearing Serge's comments, and Serge doesn't say things like this lightly, right? This is a guy who knows hockey, and he's just not throwing that out. I remember a couple of years ago, I spoke with Serge about Cole Caulfield, and I looked at the quote he got from me back then. This is 2 years ago, and he said, he reminds me of a guy like Yvon Cournoyer. He's built like Cournoyer. He's not tall, but he's bulky and strong. He's got a great shot, and Yvon had a great shot. Yvon was a 40-goal scorer, and this guy will be. He has a lot of quick speed like Yvon. I know they're different, but there are similarities between the two.
Wow.
Similar thing about Cole Caulfield, right? And he was right. And now he's saying similar stuff about Lane Hutson. Not surprising because anybody who watched Lane Hutson last season, the kid is incredibly talented. And one of the things Serge said that stood out to me, Tony, is that he said he's not afraid. And he really isn't. And I think that was a big question mark for a lot of people, including me going into the season. How is this kid going to survive in the NHL? How is he going to go into the corners and come out with the puck and come out alive? And he didn't miss a game last season. He got better as the season went on. And that courage and that tenacity and the love for the game he has is part of what makes him such a unique talent.
The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by Souvlaki Authentique. I'd like to say hi to Terry and Costa. Why don't I shut off my phone while I'm at it? Montreal knows good food, but nothing hits like Souvlaki Authentique. Every stick of souvlaki is marinated fresh. Every pita is packed with flavor, and the potatoes twice fried and finished with that signature lemon sauce. This is comfort food, Greek style, family-run, flavor-packed, and proud to serve Montreal. Go to souvlakiauthentique.com to find your nearest location and bring the taste of Greece home. Also brought to you in part by Bittt Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager, refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for the summer. Only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 and 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light and ultra refreshing. I want to talk to you about the World Series of Poker before we get back to Lane Hutson and what Serge Savard had to say. In his opinion, Lane Hutson, the most talented Montreal Canadian since Guy Lafleur. The World Series of Poker circuit is coming to Playground. Playground is set to host the WSOP, World Series of Poker C circuit, Montreal, from August 18th to September 2nd, bringing one of the biggest and most popular live tournament series in the world back to Montreal. This edition features $5 million in guaranteed prize pools, including a main event with a $2.2 million guarantee and a $2,500 buy-in. Poker history is being made once again at Playground. Don't miss out on the World Series of Poker C Montreal starting on August 18. All right, okay, so we all know the season that Lane Hutson had once again, Stu. We don't have to talk about it all that much. 6 goals, 60 assists, 66 points. His 60 assists tied a league record for the most assists by a rookie defenseman, which was set initially by Larry Murphy, I believe in 1981 or something like that. And Lane Hutson finished with more assists than any player on the Montreal Canadiens. Lane Hutson finished as the third leading point getter on the Montreal Canadiens. Lane Hutson finished as the 7th leading point getter for NHL defensemen. Lane Hutson had more points than any Montreal Canadiens player in the playoffs. Lane Hutson went on to win the Calder Trophy as the Rookie of the Year. Stu, I get the feeling that if Serge Savard was the GM of the Canadiens, and now we're just talking for talking, right? If he was the GM of the Canadiens, this contract, and albeit there's no hurry to sign it because the Canadiens can sign Hutson to a deal even next year, but I get the feeling that if Serge Savard was the GM, this contract would be signed. Any thoughts you have on that?
Well, if he was GM right now, he wouldn't be talking that way, at least not publicly.
That's a good one.
Even if he believed it, he wouldn't be saying that publicly, right? That's not going to help his hand in negotiations.
Well, it's probably not going to help Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes either, because I would imagine, with all due respect to Serge, when they heard that yesterday, look, let's put the cards on the table, right? Canadiens players want to get as much as they can, and the GM and the executive vice president of hockey operations want to give them the least possible amount because they want to be able to get as many great players under contract as possible to put together the best team. So you always want to get guys below market value. And if everyone comes in below market value, you know what? You'll probably be able to add 2.5 or 2.6 or 2.7 million dollar players more, right?
Yeah. And it's fair value, right? Fair value is what they're looking at. And the thing with Kent Hughes, he has so much experience negotiating contracts from the other side, right? As a player agent. And the thing I like about him, not just negotiating contracts, but everything, and we spoke about this before, nothing's personal with him. He doesn't make it personal. There's a business side and there's a personal side. And he's able to separate the two of those, something Marc Bergevin had difficulty doing. So the Canadiens have, they have a couple of balls in their hands here. I mean, they can give him 8 years, right? This right now. And the next CBA, which kicks in after next season, is only 7 years.
Correct.
The Canadiens can give him an extra year than what other teams would be able to give him, or what the Canadiens would be able to give him after this season, right? And so how much is Lane Hutson worth? $10 million? If that's what he's coming in and he's asking for, okay, that's after one season, one rookie season, and one incredible season, right? But as Ken Hughes
the talent doesn't lie. The talent doesn't
lie.
Yeah,
but progression isn't always linear, right? And you look at now Juraj Slafkovsky coming into the first season of his big contract next year at $7.6 million. And you could make an argument that the Canadiens maybe jumped the gun a little bit, giving him that much money when they did, right? But Lane Hutson, I'm confident that he will play as well as he did last season, next season. I'm not worried about him. My concerns are injuries just because of his size. And I think also...
let me ask you this. Are you worried about injuries when it comes to Caulfield?
I was. Not so much now. He's bulked up significantly since he first joined the Canadiens. And Lane Hutson, I'm sure, will do the same and add some muscle on. But, I mean, there's injuries are possible with any player, right? I mean, look at Brendan Gallagher I can't remember how many seasons he went with never getting hurt. And then
I'm honestly not worried about it at all because, once again, I really feel that these small players, they have an advantage. They've been small all their lives. They've learned how to play with it. They've learned how to deal with it. They've been able to exercise their brain more than other big, strong, physical players. So you know what? They get themselves out of situations like Serge Savard said. He's agile. What Serge didn't mention is that he's got a hockey brain that is like off the charts, as Marty St. Louis likes to call it, that processor that he has upstairs in his head. That's an elite processor. It's the latest technology that Lane Hutson has. I'm not worried about injuries whatsoever because, once again, name me, once last year in the regular season that you can recall that he got hit and he got hit hard. I'd really have to think about it for a long time.
The only time I remember him getting hit really hard was in that rookie game against the Leafs before the season started.
Yeah.
That's the only time
and in the playoffs, he got tagged a bit.
He got tagged a bit, yeah. And I think that's another question mark Canadiens have is how durable and how effective is he going to be in the playoffs, right? As they go further, if they go beyond the first round and you run into more of the Tom Wilsons of the world. And again, Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton are smart. I don't think there's any reason for them at this point right now to rush in. We don't know how far apart they are in contract talks. I'm sure they want to be fair with Lane Hutson. I'm sure but are they going to be willing to give him $10 million a year or plus? I don't know. What do you think, Tony? Would you give him $10 million a year right now?
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat?
Yeah.
For 8 years?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. See, I think they're I don't think the Canadiens...
They're obviously not willing to do it because it would have been done by now.
Maybe he's asking more than $10 million. We don't know, right? Maybe
I mean,
11, 12 million. Who knows? I look at Kale
They gave Dobson 9.5, right? Yeah. So those who are going to have a different opinion than me will say, well, yeah, but Dobson's been in the league for 5-6 years, so he's been able to do it. I get that.
Yeah, more of a proven commodity over a long time.
I understand that, but it took Noah Dobson 5 years to do what Lane Hutson did in year one, and Lane Hutson did it in year one as a 21-year-old rookie. I mean, for me, what Lane Hutson, this cannot be a fluke. His talent is there. It's obvious. It's undeniable. He's the real deal. And by the way, part of me understands when the Canadiens say we're going to wait because they're saying the guy tied a league record. The guy was the third leading point getter on the team. The guy had more assists of any player on the team. The guy was the leading point getter on the team in the playoffs. And the guy won the Calder Trophy. They're probably saying he cannot possibly replicate that next year. So next year, if he doesn't, it'll be more difficult for Lane Hutson's side to negotiate, and we could probably get him at a better price. I say this. What if the difference, let's say the difference in salary of what the player would want and the team would want is, and I don't know, let's just say it's $2 million. Okay? That $2 million a year over the next 8 years, are you worth waiting next year? Is it worth more to wait next year to maybe end up signing him at max a 7 or a 6 or a 5 instead of an 8-year deal? Do you understand what I'm trying to get? Is the difference worth it? And is it worth making him wait even though you're not waiting that long and they've waited that long for everybody else? I get it. When you just went out and acquired a defenseman and already gave him 9.5. You know what? I would want from the outside, this is easy for me to say, right? Because I'm not the GM of the team. I don't manage their finances. And they're a lot more qualified than I am and a lot better off. And the Canadiens, I'm happy those guys are there. I wouldn't want to offend the player. If it's going to make the player happy that he's going to get himself an 8-year deal at $10 million a year, I'd give it to him, because there's some guys that you give a contract to, Stu, and you say, you know what, geez, I hope it works out. Do you even have that doubt at all?
Well, if you're offering him 8 years at $8 million or $9 million, I don't think you're insulting the kid, right? I don't think that's a lot of money for a kid with one season in the NHL, 21 years old. The size worries or concerns. I don't think you're insulting him at any point in that time. But I'm sure if Lane Hutson, if they don't take care of this before the season starts and it drags on, if Lane Hutson performs the way he did last season, and by the midway point of the season, the Canadiens will happily give him. We don't know if he's asking $10 million. For me right now, I look at Cale Makar. Okay, I know the salary cap's going up. I know it's changing, and guys are going to be getting more money. But it was 4 years ago. He signed a 6-year contract with $9 million at 22 years old. Lane Hutson's 21. So as I said, if you're offering him $9 million a year,
yeah, but I could play the same game. I could play the same game and tell you that Carlson makes 11.5.
Yes, yeah, but that's a mistake, right?
Yeah, and Seth Jones makes 9.5.
Yeah, Gordon and Hughes are smart guys, so I don't see any reason for them to rush into this right now. Lane Hutson, is he going to be offended that they didn't give him a contract early? Well, that's two sides. They're playing the sides, right? You're offering that. If whatever offer's on the table now, and I imagine there must be one from the Canadiens, you think there must be one. It's a lot of money, right? And you also got to think as a player, if I don't take that money now and I do get hurt this season coming up, then what, right? That's something else that the players got to factor in, and something else that management realizes also, right? So it's a give and take as with any kind of negotiation. I'm sure at the end of the day, the Canadiens are going to sign Lane Hutson. But again, I just don't think they need to rush into it right this summer and sign it in August and have him signed to an 8-year deal. And I imagine there must be a disparity between what both sides are looking at right now. Otherwise, it would be signed. And Lane Hutson is going to bank on himself. And remember, PK Subban signed that bridge deal, right?
Yeah.
Banked on himself and then really cashed in afterwards. So is that something Lane Hutson's willing to do and leave a lot of money long-term on the table? So it's, I put myself in the situation where the players on this team now most of the players are about the same age as my kids. My kids are 26 and 24. And as a parent, I look at it and I think, man, if my kid at 21 years old was offered 8-year contract at $8 million a year or something like that, I would be telling them it's a lot of money to turn down, especially when you're in a business. You're not sitting behind a desk every day, right? You can blow it, you're going to be over. So all these things come into play. And nobody knows that more than Kent Hughes. I mean, negotiated from both sides. And as I said, Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton are smart guys. And as you said, you don't want to overpay guys, right? You want to get guys for under value if you can, because it makes the team better, right? And you're able to afford to buy other guys out, get other guys after. Like there's a Toronto situation where their core 4 guys were making all the money and they didn't have money for other guys. So I'm sure they're talking with, Ken Hughes is a smart guy and he's an honest guy. And I'm sure they've been very honest with Lane Hutson, explaining their side of the story and where they stand. And I imagine Lane Hutson's giving his side also. But when Lane Hutson starts off this season and 20 games in, he's lighting it up, I'm pretty sure the Canadiens is going to be in a position then, okay, we better lock this kid up and do it now.
And you know what?
The 8-year, 7-year thing is huge from the Canadiens.
Yes, and they're probably thinking too. You know what?
It'd be crazy not to play that card.
And they're probably thinking, you know what, if he doesn't go to the Olympics, it'll probably it'll lower his value as well. He probably won't ask for as much. And I reported, I don't know when it was, about 10 days ago or whatever it was. Time flies when you're having fun. That based on the information that I have, that Lane Hutson will not be on the USA hockey list for their orientation camp for the 2026 Olympics later this month. And we'll have to wait and see for that to be official. But you know what? That'll probably be something that will work in their favor, or they're probably hoping that it will. Who's going to win the rookie?
We're talking about Lane Hutson. So remember Jean Beliveau talking about PK Subban, right? When he first came in, and we loved them, right? Absolutely loved them. What an incredible, talented hockey player to watch. And PK bet on himself and signed that bridge deal, and then got rich. So is Lane Hutson willing to do that if he's not getting the money now that the Canadiens are offering? Is he willing to sign that bridge deal? And then as the salary cap's going up, maybe he gets $12 million or a year or whatever however things play out by then.
Go all the way with Bet. Who's going to win the Rookie of the Year next year? Is it going to be another Montreal Canadiens? Is it going to be Ivan Demidov? Is it going to be 2 Montreal Canadiens in the span of 2 years? Well, you can go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200. First bet. Lose a scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. Also brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America. They are driven to be different. They're a top fleet employer in Canada. Just ask Forbes magazine. All right. Yesterday at Club de Golf Le Mirage, once again with so many former NHLers and superstars there, one of which was former Montreal Canadiens player and general manager Bob Gainey, who was asked about, the Canadiens over the last couple of years. Let's hear from Bob Gainey.
Comme une partisan, une amélioration de l'équipe, peut-être pas mois par mois, mais certainement 2-3 fois pendant chaque saison, les dernières 2-3 saisons, on peut voir les flashs d'un groupe qui joue comme une équipe, qui sont fiers, qui joue pour chacun. Alors, moi, j'ai le sens que les dirigeants et les entraîneurs sont sur la même page, et ça, c'est une bonne place pour commencer de former un groupe de joueurs talentueux en équipe.
Bob Gainey says, I get the feeling that the players and the coaching staff, the management team, I get the feeling that everyone's on the same page. Obviously, he says, watching from the outside. But he says, you know what? I see this team getting better. It doesn't mean that they're getting better every month because, like you said, there's fluctuations, there's ups and downs. But I see flashes during the season on 2 or 3 different occasions this past season and the year before that. I see flashes of what could be a really good team, playing as a team, believing in each other. And I see flashes of what makes a good team going forward. It's just now about putting it all together. So your thoughts on steady improvement and slowly but surely?
Surely, and I think they're a year ahead of where they thought they'd be at this point in the rebuild. Going into last season was be in the mix, right? They went above and beyond that. But I think what Gainey's saying there also plays into the Canadiens' favor in negotiations with Lane Hutson. Montreal is a place guys want to play now, right? Especially young guys, especially this young group that's come up together. They want to play in Montreal. They like the brotherhood in the room, and they love playing for Marty St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
And could you think of a better coach in the NHL for Lane Hutson in his first season than Marty St. Louis?
No, I can't. And I've said that on a couple of times.
It's obvious. He handled them perfectly. He gave them a leash like crazy. That never would have happened before with the Canadiens, right? They would have had a leash on Lane Hutson. He wouldn't have been allowed to do a lot of the stuff that he did. Marty just let him play. And, people kept talking about, it's 82 games. He said, hey, I played NCAA hockey. The practices are harder than the games. Never concerned about the schedule. And I think that factors in too. Does Lane Hutson, this doesn't work out here. I think Lane Hutson wants to stay in Montreal.
There's no doubt in my mind. And I'm with you.
I think they want to stay here. And this is a place that I think that might be the biggest thing that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton and Marty St. Louis have done since they took over is make Montreal a place where guys want to play and they want to stay.
I've said this before. I give Marty St. Louis a lot of credit. I think the best individual work that St. Louis did with a player individually, because obviously they did a great job of coaching the team, but individually, I really think he did an awesome job with Caulfield. Yeah. He told us that he wanted to make Caulfield a 200-foot player, and he's done just that. Mm-hmm. But I really applaud as a guy that every now and then can be critical. Mind you, I've never had the coach fired, never asked for the coach to be fired, and I applauded his hiring when many mocked it. I'm going to say this. I thought he was awesome for Lane Hutson. I thought he was awesome. Like you mentioned, it's obvious that Marty St. Louis is a Lane Hutson fan. It's obvious that Marty St. Louis likes the way Lane Hutson plays the game, and it's obvious that St. Louis thinks if he keeps on throwing Hutson over the boards, the Canadiens have a much better chance of winning games than losing games. He, along with Mike Matheson, were the most used players for time on ice in the playoffs. You talked about, some will call them mistakes. I'll call them learning moments for a 21-year-old rookie in the National Hockey League. When Hutson made a mistake, he knew he made a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what?
But he was allowed to play without the fear of making them.
I thought Robidas was great, too. That's what I mean. I thought Robidas was great.
Yeah.
I kept on seeing Robidas go up to him, this and that, whisper in his ear a little bit. I saw an attentive Lane, knowing when he made a mistake, like he was fully aware, but they just went over it. The pat on the back, and then boom, back on the ice every other shift. You know what? Just go out and keep on playing your game. And in the end, the Canadiens are a winner. And they did that, and I think I think Marty deserves a lot of credit. I give Marty a lot of credit for that, and I give Stefan Robidas quite a bit of credit for that as well.
Robidas also, I remember talking with some of the veteran defensemen on the Canadiens last season, and they were saying the same thing about with Robidas, just how good he is with him. Mike Matheson was saying, almost wishing he had had a Stefan Robidas type coach when he was young, because he said it's all positive. You come back to the bench, he's not yelling at anybody. There's no problem. It's don't worry about it. Go out, and then we'll work on it in video. We'll look at it afterwards. And you're talking about Marty St. Louis and Cole Caulfield. Caden Gooley had a great quote last season. We were talking, it was after practice, I think, and we were talking about how St. Louis and Hutson see the game the same way, and it's unique and everything. And Gooley says, there's times I hear them talking hockey. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's like, what are you guys? It's like a foreign language.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And Caden Gooley's not a bad hockey player, right? But
no. And he knows the game.
He knows the game, but he said these guys start talking, and you're going, what are you talking about?
But look, I want to go back.
They're unique. Marty St. Louis was a unique talent.
Yeah.
And so was Lane Hutson.
I want to go back, though, and I know Bob Gainey talked about the steady improvement the Canadiens have been making, some of those flashes that you see them being a really good team. But I want to go back to Hutson, because what Serge Savard said, I mean, that's big and that's strong. That's powerful. I mean, let's be honest here. He called Lane Hutson the most talented Montreal Canadian since Guy Lafleur. I mean, 42 years have passed since Guy Lafleur retired the first time with the Montreal Canadiens, right? And those 40 years, once again, we've seen a lot of really, really good hockey players with the Canadiens. We saw, we saw Alex Kovalev, and we saw Sako Koivu once again, and we saw Kovalchuk, and we saw Mats Naslund, and we saw Bobby Smith, and we saw Stéphane Richer, and we saw a bunch of really, really good hockey players. Where do you stand on this? Like when Savard says he thinks Hudson's the most talented Canadian, there was PK Subban, there was Andre Markov. He was the most talented Montreal Canadian since Lafleur. You say what?
I think he's being honest, because how many other players, a lot of talented players, Kovalev could pull you out of his seats when he felt like it, right? But Lane Hutson, every game, like every single game, he does something, you go, wow. Or PK used to do that also, right? So after Lafleur, PK, I think, was the first real guy that just pulled people out of their seats with the way he played and the flash he had. And then I think since then, Lane Hutson is just the little things he does. Like, he does little things that make you go, wow. The way he'll spin out and avoid a check, or the way he skates, so his edges, the passes he makes, the vision he has. With Ivan Demidov playing with him this year, it's going to be, you figure he's going to get more than 60 assists just with the passes he's going to be giving Demidov. So I think Serge Savard being straightforward and honest. One of the things I've liked about a lot of those older players is when you ask them a question, they give you an honest answer. They're not really.
So you agree, though? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from a strictly a skill and a unique skill set, right? I mean, there's so many different things that he can do, and there's so many.
Suzuki's an awesome hockey player too.
He's an awesome. But Suzuki doesn't pull you out of your seat. Suzuki is, you watch him play, and he's an incredibly smart, incredibly intelligent, gifted hockey player. Yeah. But he doesn't have the skill set or the ability to do things that make you go, like, jump out of your seat or go, wow. Nick Suzuki is just a solid all-around hockey player.
I wouldn't be surprised in 3 years from now, Serge Savard says the same thing, and he says it about Ivan Demidov.
Could be, yeah. I mean, Demidov, we got a glimpse of him at the end of last season. He's got a unique skill set also, right? But
I saw him
doing it as a defenseman.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember Bobby Orr, and Bobby Orr was my favorite player when I was a kid, and I'll argue with anybody that Bobby Orr was the greatest hockey player that ever lived, in my opinion. And I'm not saying Lane Hutson is Bobby Orr, but he has some Bobby Orr qualities to him in the way he can control a game offensively, and the skill level he has and the skating ability he has. And it's, I go back to Rob Ramage last year at the training camp and, asking him, how is this kid going to play defense in the NHL? That was the question, right? That was the offensive skills were there. And he said his tenacity is just, he's a dog on the bone with the puck. And we saw that early. And Marty St. Louis mentioned that a lot early in the season also. He's not afraid to put him out there against anybody, because if he gets beat, he's going to bust his butt to get back in the play, and he's probably not going to get beat again. But and what Serge said, I agree. Like, I'm trying to think who apart from PK, since Lafleur was Kovalev, but when he felt like it, right?
When he felt like it, that's right. But you remember that game versus the Bruins?
Wayne Hutson comes to play every game.
The game versus the Bruins when the helmet came off and whatever. Like Kovalev, this is Kovalev in a nutshell, right? Kovalev in a nutshell was that series versus the Boston Bruins when the Canadiens went down 3-1.
Yeah.
When Kovalev got slashed in the wrist.
Yeah.
And he just stopped skating and he left the puck there. And Kovalev and Surrey ended up colliding into each other and falling on the ground. And Glenn Murray scores in overtime on Jose Theodore. And the Bruins win that game and go up 3-1 in the series, right? I believe you were in the dressing room after the game. I remember being there. I was in the dressing room after the game. Kovalev was answering questions from the media with Surrey was answering questions from the media. Kovalev was right now beside him, also answering questions from the media. And Surrey says, you stop playing and you just leave the puck there in overtime? Really? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And like Surrey was really questioning Kovalev's character, his physicality, his ability to play through pain, his ability to take a slash, probably even questioning how much Kovalev was even hurt at the time. Like, he was really upset.
And speaking for a lot of his teammates,
probably speaking for a lot of his teammates. But guess what? It really motivated Kovalev. And if you can recall, he had 3 points in Game 5 in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had 3 points in Game 6, 2 goals or 3 points in Game 6. And he had 2 assists in Game 7 on 2 goals by Richard Zednik, and they won by a score of 2-0. In the last 3 games of that series, Kovalev was like a man on the mission, and we had never seen anything like it. So you're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kovalev, from a talent
one of the most talented players and one of the most frustrating players.
Correct. He had an incredible amount of talent, the most talented Hab since Lafleur. But unfortunately, it's when he was in the mood to play. Like, how many bad games did Lane Hutson had? Every game. I think last year, I remember counting at one point, there were about 15 games in a row or something like that I thought Hutson was the best player on the ice in a row. So, consistency. And so that, I think, let's just say, if you would say Kovalev probably had more talent than Hutson, the consistency, I think, puts you over the top.
No, I agree. I mean, nobody's going to say Lane Hutson's frustrating to watch, right? Frustrating to play against.
Yeah.
You're trying to hit this little guy and you can't catch him in that. But for Kovalev, he was a frustrating player. I remember, I think it was Mike Keenan when Kovalev was playing with the Rangers and he was taking long shifts and Keenan left him out. Remember, this was like a 6-minute shift.
Yeah.
Kovalev was coming back to the bench and Keenan said, stay out there. And then he scored a goal at the end of the shift. It's like Keenan must have just been like, that was funny. A point, the guy goes out and scores a goal and comes back. So yeah, Kovalev was talented and frustrating, and that's the thing with Lane Hutson is the passion. Talking to him on like a daily basis, being around the team, he's a kid who just loves hockey. I mean, all these guys, but I don't remember being around a player, and it's authentic. He's just he would play hockey every single day of and he almost does.
Right.
He loves nothing more. You ask him, I remember he had a day off. One of the days the Canadiens made him not go to the practice rink.
Yeah.
And I was saying to him the next day when they were back, I said, so what did you do on your 4th day off? And he's all, nothing. I watched some TV and I waited to come back here again today. That's it. It's hockey.
Speaking of hockey, another guy who's doing a lot of it. And by the way, Ivan Demidov made a lot of youngsters happy today. There's a camp, I think it's called Sport Life. It's on the West Island. It was in Pierrefonds, and about 200 kids have participated in the camp. I think Jakob Dobish and Logan Thompson went on the ice to see the kids last week and sign autographs and play with the kids and stuff like that. Ivan Demidov did it earlier this morning, which is really, really cool. And speaking of Kovalev, I mean, one guy who's got Kovalev-type talent, I think he's going to be less frustrating because I think he's going to be a lot more consistent. Did you have a chance to see some of the highlights from Demidov last night playing in that Living Season 3v3 game?
Behind the legs, backhand pass.
Let's take a look at the pass. Yeah. Let's take a look. Shane Gaumont on master control. All right, there's Jake Evans, who got stopped on a breakaway, and now watch this. Evans I almost called him Kovalev, to Demidov between the legs, to Joshua Roy between the legs. And here's another one where he scored a couple of goals, actually. We have another video where he scored a couple of goals. Look at this. Look at Ivan Demidov. Right. Look at this. There's one. Boom. And there's another one in the slot. There you have it. Plus that pass. He really put on a show last night. Wow. It was unbelievable. The people in the at hockey, etc., absolutely loved it. It was amazing.
Slow motion summer hockey, but the vision in that's special, right? That's what makes Lane Hutson special. It's not just how they play the game; it's how they see the game, and they both see the game very similar to Marty St. Louis, right? So Marty St. Louis getting these guys, it's like his putty in his hands, right? These guys that he can work with and who see the game the same way.
Stu, I want to give a shout out. I did yesterday. I want to give another one today to a great cause, a great charity. It's a golf tournament coming up. If we can bring it up, there you have it. Montreal Special Needs Family Organization for families who have kids with disabilities. This race raises funds, and they've been able to help a lot of kids and a lot of families. There's going to be a golf tournament on Saturday, September 6th at Club de Golf Napierville. It's $165 per player, including golf, the golf cart, lunch, and supper. Confirmation. I believe the golf is almost sold out if it isn't sold out already, but you can definitely help out with sponsorships and with donations to a great cause. Contact Maddie, who's the head of the Montreal Special Needs Family Organization. She put this charity all together, and you can contact her at 438-860-6663. That's 438-860-6663. Stu Cowan, so you know what? Serge Savard said something pretty incredible. Lane Hutson, the most talented Montreal Canadiens player since Guy Lafleur. I had you on, and you tend to agree.
I do.
And I find it hard to disagree. So we're all in agreement tonight. Thanks for doing this, Stu. We'll talk to you again sometime soon.
My pleasure, Tony.
All right, okay. There's a band from Italy that I want to give a mention to. They're absolutely unbelievable. They are the Esteriori brothers. They've been in Montreal before. They're so good. Backed by popular demand. On the 16th of September, they're going to be coming to Place des Arts. So the last time they came, I think they went to the Rialto Theater, and this time they're going to sell a lot more tickets because the demand is so high. 16th of September at 8 p.m. at Place des Arts. Check out vivavanti.com for more information. And once again, you can scan the QR code and you'll be able to pick up your tickets. Special thanks to all of our sponsors. Energy Transportation Group is one, the World Series of Poker and Playground, of course, being another. La Bittt Tibi, Souvlaki Authentique, and Betway. Special thanks to all of you for watching. Once again, leave us a 5-star review on Apple if you like the podcast tonight. For Shane Gaumont and Master Control, it's the Sick Podcast. I'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. I'm Marinaro, and I'm born to talk Habs.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Lafleur.tv, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.